Imagine you're standing at the edge of a mountain trail, about to begin a long and uncertain climb. You've packed your gear, studied the route, visualized success. Most people focus on reaching the summit. But what if the smarter move is to think about how to fail? What if the real path forward starts by looking backward? This is the principle of inversion, a mental model borrowed from mathematics, made famous by thinkers like Carl Gustav Jacob Jacobi and championed by Charlie Munger, vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. The core idea is simple, yet profound. Instead of asking, what will make this succeed? Ask, what could cause this to fail? Then, avoid that. It's counterintuitive. Our minds are trained to think in terms of goals, desires, and best-case outcomes. We envision success. We chase progress. But in doing so, we often blind ourselves to the most direct way to get there, identifying and eliminating the most likely causes of failure. Let's unpack this by looking at real-world examples. Imagine you're planning a new business. Most people ask, what can I do to grow it? Or, what's the most innovative feature we can offer? But inversion flips the script. It asks, if this business failed in 2 years, why? Maybe you ran out of cash. Maybe you didn't solve a real problem. Maybe you hired the wrong people or launched too early or too late. By identifying these failure points first, you create a roadmap, not of what to do, but what not to do. In doing so, you clear a safer path forward. The same logic applies to relationships. Instead of asking how to make your relationship perfect, ask what typically causes relationships to break down. Poor communication, resentment, neglect, betrayal. Now invert. Make communication a daily ritual. Resolve resentment early. Stay engaged. Be loyal. Inversion turns success into subtraction. Remove what leads to ruin. What remains is resilience. This approach isn't just pragmatic, it's ancient. The Stoics practiced it through a concept called premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of evils. Before any major action, they would visualize everything that could go wrong, not to scare themselves, but to prepare their minds for obstacles and reduce their sting. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest." Not to be pessimistic, but to create a kind of mental armor. Inversion is modern stoicism in action. It's also why engineers stress test systems, why pilots rehearse emergency landings, why investors use risk models. Success isn't just about what you do, it's about what you avoid. Let's take health, for example. Most people want to feel better, get fit, improve their energy, so they chase diets, supplements, or new workout routines. But if you invert, you ask, what ruins health? Poor sleep, chronic stress, excess sugar, sedentary habits. Start there. Cut those out. The body often heals itself when obstacles are removed. Subtraction over addition. Avoidance over ambition. Now let's talk about thinking itself. Inversion sharpens clarity. Instead of trying to be right, you ask, how might I be wrong? This breaks the ego's grip. It invites humility, nuance, and flexibility. If you want to make a good decision, ask what would make it a bad one. If you're writing, ask what would make it unreadable. If you're investing, ask what would lead to a permanent loss. The pattern is universal. It's even useful in understanding your future self. Don't just ask, who do I want to be? Ask, who do I absolutely not want to become? The version of you who gave up too early, who compromised their values, who chased things that didn't matter. Sometimes we discover ourselves more clearly by outlining what we reject, not what we desire. This is the power of inversion. It cuts through noise. It surfaces blind spots. It turns every problem into a mirror and forces us to confront what we usually ignore. But there's a catch. Inversion feels unnatural at first because we're wired for optimism, for action, for more. But sometimes The path forward requires stepping back. Less noise, fewer assumptions, more quiet inspection. Ask yourself, how would I ruin this opportunity? What would make this plan fail? How do people typically mess this up? And what habits, patterns, or blind spots might I be too close to see? Every answer brings you closer to clarity. In a world obsessed with optimization, inversion reminds us that not everything needs to be built up. Sometimes the smartest move is tearing away what doesn't work. And so, the next time you feel stuck, personally, professionally, or intellectually, don't just try to move forward. Look backward. Invert the question. Think in reverse. You might be surprised by how far that takes you, because success isn't always about being brilliant. Sometimes it's just about not being stupid, and that's something worth remembering. Thanks for watching.